Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another edition of iWIN Live. A few things we're going to go over today. We're going to have we'll have a giveaway. I got a quick unboxing. Roscoe's sitting next to me, so he'll probably say hello at some point. Right? What else we got? We're going to talk about my iWIN TV win. I'll tell you the story of that from last year. Some of you guys have asked about that. So let's get started. Let's first let me say hello to everyone. Yeah. So you guys always ask about Roscoe, and you know he's not always as willing to do these as he used to be. So first off, another box came yesterday. I know what's in it. But I will unbox. No, I didn't get a haircut. I got a haircut like at the start of all this because I was really close to not being able, or my hair was too long, so I let Lee cut my hair, which some of you saw was really short. So this is like growing back, so I'm kind of due for another one. But I also live in Florida, and I know some of you guys are still at home. Florida, most everything is pretty much open. So if I want to go get a haircut, I can go get a haircut. Let's see what we got. So this is this was a text win. It's kind of a prize pack from Bell's Ale. So there's all kinds of cool stuff. There's a pint glass. What else we got in here? A whole slew of things. So it's koozie, sunglasses, buttons, some coasters, stickers. What is this? A towel? And a beach towel. So I know, like I said, this year I will try and do these a little bit more so that you guys can see some of the miscellaneous, some of the odd stuff that happens to show up in the mail. I know you guys saw the pie. The pie was delicious. I actually took a piece over to my neighbor today to share that with her. I don't need a whole pie. What else we got going on? So if you read iWIN last night, you'll know right now there's a ton of skill contests out there. Really good skill contests out there with lots of winners. Not these where you got to be, the top one or the top two. Some of them you have to be the top 100 or the top 200. So there's a lot of really good skill contests. I know a lot of people really hesitate to do skill contests. So at iWIN, I've always devoted an entire area to just skill categories or skill contests. I am going to do a class on skill contests it'll be the general skill class that we normally do, but at the end we're going to focus on current skill sweeps and talk about those and kind of brainstorm ideas so that hopefully you go out and can be motivated. Some of you guys are having trouble with sound. Let me see if I can adjust this. I'm not using headphones today. I'm actually using So I will. I'll try and speak up to try and help you guys out on that. But anyways, we're going to do a skill class. We're going to do either next Thursday at 1 o'clock or 8 o'clock, both of them Eastern. So you can go to iWIN Contest, click on Sweeper University. You are welcome to sign up for those. Again, they're going to focus on judged skill sweepstakes, and then we'll kind of put a twist in it with, I'll talk about some that are currently going on so that hopefully after the class you're going to go and want to enter those and enter those. There's some fantastic ones out there. Some of the best. This is probably one of the best times for skill contests I've seen in a long time. So I think people are creative will go a long way. The other thing I wanted to touch about, and then we'll talk about iWIN, is so I'm very specific on how I enter, what I enter. You don't have to agree with me on everything I do or the way I do things. But what I do hope is that it will make you think about how you enter and what you enter. If I tell you, I don't think this sweep is worth entering, I'm not personally going to enter, but you disagree with me, you're more than welcome to enter it. You may prove me wrong, you may win the sweep. There are times that I say, I just don't think statistically it's worth spending money mailing entries in for. But you may win it, it may be a great prize. That's your prerogative. I have no problem with a difference of opinion. So if you don't agree with me, no big deal at all. But hopefully what I've taught you with iWIN and when you read the newsletter is to kind of look at things versus just entering blindly. Unfortunately, I watch some people spin their wheels over and over and over, and they tell me they've entered, hours and hours and hours on end, and they're not winning anything. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen whether you use iWIN, whether you don't use iWIN. If you're entering for hours a day and you're not winning, really, really look at what you're doing and what you are entering, because it just shouldn't happen. There's people I know who enter 600, 700, 800 things a day, and they win, of course, because it is a numbers game in some aspects. But the amount of time they're putting in for the payoff, to me personally, is not worth it. I look at some people and see what they win, and it's just not at the level it should be for putting that much time and effort in. But that's up to you to decide. That's a personal opinion. I set goals at the start of the year. At the end of the year, we always talk about setting goals. And, I say I want to win X amount of trips. I want to win X amount of dollars in gift cards. I want to win X amount of dollars in total value in prizes. And my number's probably a lot higher than most people's. But I then set the steps needed to get to that number. And we're going to talk about goals in the iWIN here at the end of this month, because we're halfway through the year. And while we had a little bit of a hiccup, me, as far as for the year, it's been fantastic prize-wise. I have no complaints. Yet, if you look at it from a month-to-month standpoint, April was one of the worst months I've ever had. But as far as these 5 months as a whole, they're some of the better 5 months I've ever had. So what do I personally attribute that to is entering every day. I really haven't missed. I actually missed another half day a couple weeks ago. So since the start of December, I missed one full day of entering, and I missed 2 half days. And when I say a half day is I only got through half of my daily entries in those days. So that really makes a big difference. So let's talk about iWIN. Let me share my iWIN story. Some of you guys are going to enter the contest this year. Good news, I'm not entering. It doesn't really make sense for me to enter. The reality of them picking me again this year, being that I won or was one of the contest winners last year, is just not realistic. So, and in reality, I've done that experience. It was awesome. It was amazing. But I really hope some other people win it this year that I know that are iWIN members. I will. Some of you guys are asking some questions. I'll take questions after I tell the story. So some of you know a little bit about the whole iWIN experience. It was a judged contest. It was I don't remember if you had a 30 second, 1 minute video I had to do. I waited to the end to do it, but I did. I entered my video, and it didn't tell you when the dates for the trip were going to be. Now, when I say trip, iWIN is actually located in Tampa. So while flights were included, I was able to just drive over. I did not get any compensation for driving over. but you know, they were close enough I could drive over. But anyways, I got notified in San Diego at the National Convention. In fact, some of you will remember watching the interview I did with Harriet Brown, and I had mentioned that I had won a trip that day, but I didn't know if I was going to take it. I didn't know if I'd be able to. And the reason being was they were very specific on days that you had to be there to be able to shoot the promos and the commercials. I could not do it on the day they were requesting. And the reason being was I was actually going to be on a cruise. I was leaving to go on a cruise that day. So I sent them a very nice email back and said, hey, look, I'd love to do this. I'm totally flexible on time and dates, but I'm leaving on a cruise that Friday for the weekend. I could do it anytime before, after, whatever. So so they wrote me a nice email back and said, you know, let's see what we could do, because as you saw, there were numerous winners, and they brought winners in at different points because they only filmed two people in one day. So every day was a different set of two people. So so anyways, they worked it all out. So I get this huge schedule out, and with all these people that are going to be there for the photo shoot. So I go to the photo shoot, and you know, they kind of walk me through the studio. They walk me through the stages. You can go back on the Facebook page, the iWIN Facebook page, and see just the photos of this. It's just one of those experiences that you're never going to get. You know, I've had some crazy experiences, but this was just totally something I didn't expect. But you go into hair and makeup. So if you notice, like, they did my hair, the makeup. They actually even dress you. Like, all the clothing was bought by them. I had to give them sizes ahead of time. So they put you in the center of this room, and they're interviewing you, and the interview questions were questions that I had discussed with them previous, because we did kind of a trial run during the over the phone, and then we were going to film it. So we're there, and you know, I'm sitting there, and you have all these lights on you. You have all these people like playing with your mics and making sure everything looks perfect. You know, touching up your makeup, your hair. You know, so you have all these people around you doing this, and you literally have, like, I mean, it had to be at least 15 cameras on you in all different angles. And so it was really, really neat, and it's just one of those interesting experiences. So I'm sitting there, and you know, they would go through, and if you know they didn't like the way I said something or how I said something, you know, we'd stop and we'd go back and whatnot. But the real issue they were having was my shirt was showing up kind of wrinkly, and unfortunately, I'm probably a little bit fatter than I should be, and it caused my shirt to be wrinkly. So they would come in, they would fix my shirt, we'd try it again. Then they would try it unbuttoned, then they would try it buttoned and everything. So finally they said they were going to take 5 minutes and they were going to steam my shirt. Maybe that would work. But unfortunately the steaming didn't work. I'm still fat. So so we go back and we're in there. Well, what I didn't realize was they actually took scissors and they cut the back of my shirt. So I had like a t-shirt on, and then I had the shirt on that you see in the promos, which is kind of like a button-up type shirt. And they had cut it so that it would sit flat, so it wouldn't be as snug on me. So they did that. I had no idea they did it. So I shoot all that, and then you go to a green screen, and then you shoot, you know, I have not seen them on TV yet, but I had to introduce like different shows or say, you know, on TV, positively entertainment, and stuff like that. So I had to do that stuff, and it's supposed to be airing all month. And then obviously, I know a lot of you have been on the site and you've seen the photos, and you can see my interview and things like that. But I had no idea they did this. So I go, I mean, this is like, you shoot for, it was probably about 4 hours of different videos and promos and, you know, different lighting, and, you know, like you would, they would have you stand a certain way and then turn and point to the camera and do all that stuff. And they fed us, you know, we had lunch and all that good stuff. They gave you a binge bag. You had a green room that you sat in when you weren't doing it, because there were two of us. And while you see the end result and you see everyone all together, all of us shot everything individually. None of us shot things together. But one of the other winners, I met her, and so we chatted, because we were in and out of different shoots throughout the day together. Well, not together, but separate. So I finally come off. I'm all done. I go back to wardrobe, and the clothes were yours to keep and go home. And they had even bought like extra stuff, extra shirts and everything. And so the lady says, "Oh, do you want this other shirt or whatnot?" And I said, "No, I'm fine." I said, I've started to kind of like this one. It's kind of grown on me, now that I've worn it all day." And she goes, "Well, you're not going to like it when you realize what they did to it." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Well, feel the back." And I reach around. I had no idea that they had cut it all the way open. So I did bring it home. I don't have it, so I finally pitched it. I should have saved it to show you to finish the story. But I did share this story with a club in Orlando, not in Orlando, the one in the Villages, that invited me to one of their meetings like right after this. But then after the shoot, I drove home. I did fortunately spend a couple days in St. Petersburg and that area. Put me up in a great hotel. It was a lot of fun, and they gave you some spending money. I think you got a $500 gift card, which I think is what they're offering again this year. But the next morning, I was off to Miami to jump on the cruise. So that's my iWIN story. I wish you guys luck. I talked about it in the newsletter last night, but I hope someone that I know or remember wins that. So I think that'd be really cool. But I know some of you guys had some questions. So let's see what we got of questions. You know what, and I do want to give something away today. So I'm actually going to do two contests. I'm going to do one for the live, and then I'll post another one either tonight or in the morning for a chance to get you into the skill class next week, your choice, the 1 or the 8 o'clock. But today, for the live, what I want you to do is I want you to tell me why you should be in that class. It is going to be judged. It is a skill class, so I will judge it. And I'm looking for creativity, I'm looking for humor, I'm looking for passion. Those three things, those are going to be my criteria on how I decide who should win and who should go in that class. If you don't win, or you're like, hey, that's why I want to take the class so I can learn stuff like that, I am going to post just a general one where you'll be able to post, and it'd be random, and I'll probably even let you tag someone and bring them with you if you want. So I'll post one of those either tonight. If not tonight, first thing in the morning. I'll have it go throughout the weekend. So if you don't have skill yet, and that's why you want to take the class, enter that one. If you think you might have skill, or you want to try a skill, enter it on this, and you got to post on this. We'll give you till let's say 10 o'clock tonight for people who are watching it on replay. And I will go through and I will pick the one I want and announce it by tomorrow morning. So let's go back and look. How many entries do I do each day? So right now, my daily entries is right around 70, 75. That doesn't count my text entries. I like to have that number somewhere between 100 and 125. Somebody asked how long I do. So 100, 125 entries takes me roughly about an hour. I can do about 120, 125 in an hour. That's pretty normal. It's kind of mindless. Again, now we're not talking about a skill entry. Like for example, I'm going to shoot. Hi, Roscoe. I'm going to shoot a video and a photo. Kind of taking up the camera there, buddy. I'm going to shoot a photo and shoot a video tonight for an entry. And I mean, like I may spend an hour and a half. I actually have to go to the store, I have to buy a couple things. So sometimes those can take quite a long time, but I would rather spend, an hour, 2 hours doing a really good skill entry sometimes than entering 100 other things. But now that'll be separate from my dailies. I'll still get my dailies done today. Let's see what else we got. I do use RoboForm. I like it. It's what I've used pretty much ever since I started entering. It doesn't matter if you use RoboForm, it doesn't matter if you use Chrome Autofill, any of those like form fillers like that. I mean, that just speeds things up. If you're entering and not using one of those, I don't understand why. I know that some people will be like, well, some entries need hand type, and that is true. Just make sure you hand type those ones, but most of them do not. The majority, I'd say 90+% or more, do not. Some of you guys are entering the contest for the skill. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, so some of you saw Carolyn popped in. I'm not sure if Carolyn's still there, but Carolyn's going to be on the Commando show today. So I think it's 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, but you can head over to her page. I know she had mentioned that. Is it easy to use RoboForm? It's just like any other form filler. I use what's called RoboForm Everywhere, which I think is like a $20 license fee. Every now and then they have promotions, specials. But what's interesting though is what I really like about it more than like using it to form fill is it saves passwords for me. So I use it for a lot of everyday things because it saves my passwords. So that's a little bit different. Do I do a vision board? I don't. So I have goals of what I want to win. I know some people are big on vision boards and, magic and unicorns and pixie dust. There's nothing wrong with believing in all that stuff and having lucky charms stuff. I've had lucky charms, I have a little lucky charm that I've carried with me for, different things. He was in my pocket when I won the truck. So there's nothing wrong with that stuff. I don't want to, I don't want to bash anyone who likes that stuff or believes in it or any of that stuff. But it's not going to outweigh hard work and beating the odds, playing the odds, looking at odds and probability and statistics. Those things are always, in the long run, going to win out. Anyone can get lucky. Anyone can enter. You can go and you can throw one entry in the HGTV, house sweepstakes, and they get, I forget how many million, entries, millions and millions of entries, and it could be your day. And you could win that house and that car and that cash payment. You can win all that stuff. Did you beat the odds? Yes. Was it luck? Yes. Was it the best thing to enter probability and statistics? No. There's much better things to enter, but you still could have won. There's lots of sweeps out there that are legitimate that I choose not to enter, and it comes down to a time aspect. I've never entered a skill contest. I'm one of those people who are afraid to jump in. That's a lot of people. I see the numbers of who looks at the skill section versus the text section versus the general sweepstakes versus the newsletters versus the forums, and it's like 5 to 1 for every one person that looks at the skill category. 5 or 6 people look at the buy, sell, trade area of iWIN. So as an example, for every one person that looks at the skill area, it's like 15 look at the text sweepstakes. So there's a lot of people just like you that don't want anything to do with them. Um, I've done really well with them. You know, I won six trips last year, I think it was. And I have to think back of it, but I believe, I've said this before, I believe 3 of them were luck and 3 of them were skill related, you know, somehow judged. One of them being the ion win. So, somebody said Lucky Rocks. Yep. That's funny. I still have my Lucky Rock. It's in my desk. A little louder. Sorry, I'm getting quiet. I know normally, you know, I just bought this fancy microphone and everything to use for the Sweepstakes convention, but I decided to come out here today, so I'm actually sitting in like my dining room area today to do this because I have some things set up to do the video later on. I put one entry in a local store. My friend put in 200. I won 500. You know, it happens. You're going to hear stories like that all the time. I am not going to say that people don't get lucky. Absolutely. You know, in fact, I do always say luck plus skill equals winning. So, and the person who taught me that, you know, really has lived by those same words and has done extremely well. So, can we talk about your very recent trip? So, so yeah, I had a really good May, as you guys know. I'll probably announce it here in the next week. It's not like a crazy trip. So I was waiting for all my background check and everything to clear, and then I'm also waiting because, you know, with certain areas of the country like completely open and certain areas of the country closed, we really don't know what they're going to do. So we're kind of in a holding pattern. So, are there any sweeps you should not use RoboForm? There are sweeps you should not use any form filler, and those sweeps are ones that say in the rules must be manually typed. So, if it says that, just make sure that you don't. Is Instagram and Twitter considered a skill contest? No. So what is considered a skill contest? A skill contest has a judged aspect. Like, for example, if it's just votes, if it's just most votes wins, that, while some may argue that's a skill, that's not considered a skill contest. There's a lot of effort that gets put into voting contests. But it's not considered a skill contest because the best judged entry doesn't win. The most popular entry wins. Voting and skill are very different. A Twitter, posting a picture, it could be a skill. It depends. Is that tweet or is that photo judged, or is it just a random winner? Now, we don't even have to get into is random, not always random, because we know that's true, and that's a whole different topic. But as far as something being judged, now it could have a voting element. So in other words, like say it may say that we're going to judge it for the top 20, and then we're going to let people vote to decide the winner. Or the opposite, we're going to have votes determine the top 20, and then we're going to judge it for the best of the 20. Those would both be considered skill. It has to have a judging element, and normally in the rules, it's going to tell you the criteria of why. So, and some of this is exactly what we talk about in the skill class. Let's see. Some of you guys are doing entries, so I don't want to read those, but I do want to get to the questions. Are they still having conventions? Absolutely. This year is virtual, as many of you know, but you can still sign up. You actually have like 2 or 3 more weeks. It's nh2020vision.com, or you can go to the iWIN site, and there's always a section for conventions. But this year's big national convention is virtual, and it's going to be next month. I will be part of it. In fact, I will be teaching a couple classes on it, or for it. What are you doing, Mr. Roscoe? Also, there's a mini, I don't want to say mini convention, it's a one-day type sweepstakes meeting that's really big. It's been going on for years. It's in Michigan later this fall. And the hope is to still do that in person. But yeah, they definitely still have them. Let's see. I hate the trip sweeps, hoping they offer cash options with all the restrictions right now. So yeah, there's some people who don't travel, don't want anything to do with trips. I'm the opposite. I love travel. I want to travel. I want the trip sweeps. In fact, we're talking that I've won now 72 trips. And there's only one trip that I took a cash option. And out of all those 72, there was only one. Come here, Roscoe. What you doing? Come here. There was only one that even offered me the cash option. So all the rest were for the trip. And it was this year. And it was a cruise, and instead they offered me a gift card, and so I took the gift card. But right now they're being a lot more flexible. But there's still some that, you know, they're giving away the trip. They want to give away the trip. They want to give away that experience. So they may be more lenient as far as when you can take things, like some things that you would normally have to take by the end of this year, you're getting to the end of next year. So, but normally if an alternative option is offered, it's going to be in the rules ahead of time. Let's see. Somebody said if a Twitter sweep says to tag someone, do they mean in a reply or retweet? Assuming no other info is provided. Normally, it's just in a reply. Normally. The question comes to play is when they say retweet, tag someone and use the hashtag, NASCAR sweep. And I talk about that in the Twitter class that, sometimes you don't know. So sometimes maybe you retweet, sometimes you maybe retweet with a comment, sometimes maybe you reply, and sometimes you do all three just to kind of cover yourself. Have you ever made Roscoe help with skill contests? Absolutely. Have you seen some of the entries? Roscoe's won some cool things. But yeah, Roscoe's done well. I think one of the first skill contests that I had him involved with as far as for a trip was the trip to the national championship. And some of you have seen that photo where I'm in Ohio State gear and Roscoe's sitting on the toilet and there's rubber ducks floating in the toilet and it says flush the ducks because they were playing Oregon. But that photo got me a trip to the national championship. But yeah, Roscoe's won all kinds of little cool stuff. Yeah, somebody said, I read marketing magazines, they say winners want an experience, not me, cash please. Yeah, there's lots of people who love cash and gift cards. I gotta tell you, right now though, there is a ton of cash and gift card sweeps. Like, I'm amazed at how much in gift cards I've won already this year. A lot of companies that, just like this prize pack that I won. I mean, it's a nice prize pack. It's got all kinds of little miscellaneous stuff. But where people are really looking for the gift card type sweeps and the cash, and maybe they don't want to send this stuff out. It's expensive to send this stuff out. So instead of this, maybe they're giving a $25 Visa or a $50 Visa away, where this package that they sent me with all this stuff probably cost them, you know, at least 25, if not $50 to make the stuff to send it. Now, if they already had it made, they already have it made. But if not, you're seeing a lot of them go to gift cards. Do I count airfare win as a trip win? I do not. So how I count trip wins is it must include an overnight and an experience. Okay, so if I win a hotel night with breakfast, no, that doesn't count. But if I win a hotel night and a round of golf, that would be a trip. If I win airline tickets, not a trip. Hotel vouchers, not a trip. So for example, I had planned to go to Park City, Utah. We were actually going to go like 2 weeks ago. I was using a 2-night hotel stay that I had won from Hilton. I was using JetBlue vouchers that I had won last year from a different promotion. I was using a Hertz rental car certificate that I had won from a different promotion. So my rental car, my airfare, my hotel was all paid for. I would have had to pay for food, my activities and everything. But I would not personally count that as a trip win, even though I pieced together all kinds of little pieces. On any individual contest, one was airfare, one was a car rental, one was hotel. So again, everyone counts things differently. How you choose to count them is fine. How I choose to count them is fine. That's how I determine what is considered a trip. I love winning prize packs of stuff, food, etc. Do you win them as much anymore compared to 5-10 years ago? That's an interesting question, Lisa. So me personally, I would say I don't win as much stuff, but not because it's not out there. There's a lot of stuff that I personally avoid. Okay, you know, if I don't need certain things. Now granted, you're always going to have the things where maybe you entered, and this one may have been one of them, where the top prize is a $500 gift card or a trip, or you know, or a vehicle or something, and you win second prize or third prize or fourth prize, and it's a water bottle, or it's a set of 4 koozies, or it's a T-shirt. But if the prize is, say the prize is a T-shirt. Now there are some shirts, if I want the shirt and I like the shirt, I'll enter for it. But if it's a promotional shirt and you know I don't need another promotional shirt of that brand, or I don't like it, or I know I wouldn't wear it, or I know I wouldn't give it to someone, I'm probably not going to enter for it. It's not going to be something I'm going to spend the time for. Now, again, if you have more time and you like stuff like that, you're going to enter for more of those things. But back to your original question, I don't think it's really much different. I think there's still a lot that give stuff, that give food prizes, that give, you know, stuff. What else we got? Somebody call it promo job. You know, it's hard because, you know, certain companies are excited about promotion. They put their logo on stuff and they send it out and people enter for it. Like I see things that people enter for and I'm just like, what are you going to do with that? But then there's always someone that loves it and is happy with it. So, you know, I don't really judge that. Somebody asked about my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law lives in England. Yes, he does. So I want to say Suffolk County. I forget what, but it's near London. It's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes from London. Any other questions that I missed, and then I will let you guys get back to your life on Friday. You might hear Roscoe squeaking his toy. Any last questions you guys have? Can you share your winning ion video from last year? So I will show my winning video in the class, and that's not to get you to take the class, but being that they're doing a current contest, I want to help those people focus on it versus putting it public. But Josh, send me an email. I'll be glad to help you. For any of the iWIN members that know me, they know when, like, I get sent skill entries almost every day to critique. I'm willing to critique them and spend the time on them as long as you're willing to accept it's my critique. Just because I tell you something sucks or it's bad, I'll be very blunt with you. 2, you don't have to agree with me again. You can still enter it. There's times where I think they're looking for something and they end up looking for something else. So I tell people based on my knowledge and my experience, but sometimes I know for sure kind of what they're looking for because maybe I've won from this company before, or maybe I know who the judging agency is, maybe I know who's judging it, but sometimes you don't, and I talk about, we talk a little bit more about this in the skill contest class, but when you don't know exactly who's judging, you don't know if the judging agency's going to actually do it, you don't know if the sponsor's doing it, you don't know if the president of the sponsor, you don't know if maybe the founder of the company or maybe the founder of the company's grandchild is doing it. It can be all over the board. And so, like we're learning with the one contest because the one contest goes all summer. And so we're seeing some of the things that have won. So people who haven't won can kind of adjust and tweak their entries based on what has won already. Somebody said, I must spend hours a week doing that. I gotta tell you, and again, this is not to pat myself on the back, but I like to think that the difference with iWIN is the access to me. There's no site out there whose owner wins as much as me. And I'll put my record up against any site, anywhere. It doesn't happen. But then you also have the accessibility to ask questions, to get critiques. A lot of you guys know I answer you guys almost immediately. So, so some of you guys are asking about that winning one again. Again, it's a video, and it wouldn't be fair to post publicly right now, honestly. Yeah, I protect my members and their interests. That's why it's extremely rare that I even talk about a specific sweepstakes on a public live, just because I kind of owe that to my members. There's times I will because in the context or the context of the story and whatnot, it's needed. But other than that, a lot of times, or if you ask a question on a specific sweep, a lot of times you'll see I won't answer it because I'll answer it, but send it to me in an email, send it to me in a message, because I'd rather give that help and that information to members. So you can say that's right or wrong, but my members are very valuable to me. So other than that, have a wonderful weekend. Again, you have until the end of tonight, we'll say 10 o'clock, to tell me why you should be in the skill class next week. Again, it's Thursday. There's a 1 p.m., there's an 8 p.m. It's cheap. It's like 25 bucks. You can sign up for it online. If you've already signed up for it last night or this morning, I will send those invites out over the weekend. It'll be about a 90-minute class as normal. If you don't want to do a skill creative type entry, I will post another sweepstakes where it'll just be a random winner. So other than that, you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Somebody's getting very impatient. Talk to you guys all soon.